the frame so that we can get the best of the feed from you. I think you're using your laptop, right, sir?
Yes.
Yeah, your frame is perfectly fine and your audio is also fine. Can you just push it little away from you so that we can get more of you in the screen?
How is it now?
So a little more, sir. Like I want you to push a little further.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, sir, can you tilt the screen little down? Yeah,
Is it okay now?
and yes, sir. And go. Yeah, perfect, sir. This is fine, sir. And there is one option called cam/mic. I think you can see on your screen.
Yes.
Yeah, please select that one and select camera, show
Yes.
advanced option, and full high definition. That will give us the best of the quality of your feed. Perfect, sir. Perfect. Sir, just can you just wave your hand a bit so that I just can see if there is a latency or something? Yeah, perfect, sir. Can you say something, sir?
Yeah. I hope you can hear me.
Sir, there's a lag, sir. Can you say something? No?
Is it because of HD?
Yeah, yeah, no, no, perfect, sir. It's fine, it's fine. Can you say a little word, like two,
Okay.
three words?
I hope my voice is clear now.
Uh, Momita, can you see there's an audio?
Yeah, yeah. There's a lag, sir. Sir, just to talk, like, how are you, sir? How was your day today?
No, I have just changed it to now standard or low medium definition. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir, I think, but
Wait,
yes, it is fine now, sir.
sir, can you say something
Perfect.
now? Hello?
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Cute.
I still have the lag. Is the lag not coming at all?
Yeah, yeah, I'll come back. Hi, Mr. Andreas. Hi, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Hi, sir. I'm Sombisi from the CNBC team, sir. Sir, I'll be helping you with the recording, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Sir, so okay, as we are recording virtually, I want to help you us with the best frame you can. Sir, are you using your laptop for the recording?
Yes, I do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can you push it further away little from you, the laptop?
Like this.
Yeah, sir. You can come little close to your laptop and
Sir, tilt down the laptop
yeah,
screen. Sir, tilt down the laptop screen a little bit and far. Right, sir.
sir. Sir, can you help us remove those bottles on your right? That's it. There are three bottles
Behind you, sir. Behind you, there are
behind
three
you.
bottles.
Okay, sir. Sir, can you say something?
Yes.
Like
Do you hear me? Do you hear
yes,
me
yes,
clearly?
perfectly fine. Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. Just give us 2 minutes, sir. I'll get back to you, sir. The frame
Yeah.
is fine. We'll start the recording.
Then-
Hi, hi, Chandramohan, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, is it clear now?
Sir, can we have little more light, sir, on your face?
Lights.
Like,
One
yeah.
second, I'll just. Huh? That's all the lights we have. That's all the light we have in this room.
Okay, sir.
So,
No problem,
so
sir.
if
Can
the
you push
blinds
the
are
lap?
closed, yeah, if the
Yeah.
blinds are closed, sir, just open the blinds.
No, there are no blinds. The conference hall, there is no blind here.
Okay, okay, sir. So push away
Is
the
that
laptop little from. Just push away, yes, a little bit, and tilt down, sir, your laptop screen. Uh, yes, and sir, go to the third option, sir, cam/mic.
1 second? Yeah. Advanced
Okay,
stop.
sir. Yes, go to the advanced option. Show advanced option.
Yeah.
Go to sir full HD, full high
Yeah.
definition,
Yeah.
1080p.
Yeah. That's what we have.
Done? All right. Good, sir.
Yeah.
Good,
Done.
sir.
Great.
So now just place yourselves in the center of the frame, okay, sir?
Is it okay now?
So little towards your right. Okay. Samajit?
Yes, sir. This is fine, sir. Thank you. This is fine. Hello, Chandramohan sir. Can you say something and wave your hand so that we can see there is no latency?
Hi to everybody, Mohan, Chandra Mohan.
Yes, sir. Sir, you have to look towards the camera while you answer on the webcam of your laptop.
Oh, on the left, on the cam. Okay, not look straight, huh?
Yeah, no, sir. We are recording your feed through the webcam. Okay, sir.
So is this
Just give
okay
me
now?
2 minutes. Yeah, this is fine, sir. I'll get back to you, sir. Just give me 2 minutes. Hi, Mr. Jagdeep, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, pretty much. Hi.
Hi, sir. Sorry, sir, to keep you waiting, sir. We were just patching the other guests. Sir, can you tilt your laptop screen a little down, sir?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and can I want you to go little. If you could push the laptop a little further away from you, little
Makes
more, sir.
sense.
Sir, little more, sir,
Yeah, sure.
and little more, and then we're good.
Okay.
Perfect, sir. Perfect. Yes, sir. Perfect. And sir, if you, is it possible for you to remove the bag which is on your right? There's a black color bag. You can put it down. Yeah, yeah. And there
Works.
is one, I think, stapler right behind you on your left side. Perfect, sir. Perfect. Sir, one last thing. There will be an option called cam/mic. If you
I've
could
done
select
that.
that.
I've taken it to the full definition. I already did
Okay.
that.
Thank you so much, sir. Just give me 2 minutes. I'll get back to you. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Hi, Parikshit. Can you hear us?
Hello everyone, how are you doing?
Fine,
Hi.
thanks.
Hi,
Hi.
Parikshit. So we'll fix your frame as well. If you could push it a little further away from you
I
and
did.
tilt it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and can you push it further away the laptop?
Is it better?
Yeah, this is better. Just tilt it a little down the screen.
Want to tilt it down?
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Radhika, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Tell me.
Yeah, I think Mr. Srinivasan sir is yet to join.
Yes. No,
Have
no,
you
he's
seen?
already he's trying to join. He just texted saying that, he's not being allowed. So if one of us need to drop, just let us know.
Uh,
I'll
uh,
drop
who,
off.
who?
I'll get off.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So ask him to join the other guest as well. Hi, Mr. Sunil sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, sir. So, first of all, thank you for joining us, sir. So, we'll be starting the recording after Mr. Srinivasan sir join. Along with you, as you can see, the other guest also, and Parikshit is gonna take the interview forward.
Sure. Thank you.
Mr. Andrews, can you hear us, sir?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Sir, can you help us with one last thing, sir? If you could see on your left side, on the top, there is a light coming from the outside. Is it possible to hide that thing so that we can have a little dark background?
That's difficult, but maybe I can move this
Yes, sir. Maybe you can move your laptop to hide that thing.
better.
Yeah, yeah. Perfect, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Just place yourself in the middle.
Yeah.
Device 1 connected.
Yeah, sir. Can you see yourself properly now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So as you can see,
Device
sir,
1
our other
disconnected.
guest has joined also, and Parikshit is going to be taking forward the interview, so he'll be connecting with you shortly.
Device 2 connected.
Hi, Chandramohan sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you. Perfect.
Hi, sir. Sir, I think there's a connection lag there. If you could select Can you see yourself properly, sir? Is there any blur?
Yeah, I can see you. I cannot see
Oh,
you.
oh,
Sorry.
okay, perfect. You can see yourself, right, sir?
Yeah, I can see myself.
Okay, sir. I'll get back. Hi, Mr. Srinivas, sir. Can you hear me, sir? My name is Somej and I'm from the CNBC team, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Yes, sir. Hi, sir. Sir, I think your connection is fine, sir. Can you help? Can you tilt down your laptop a bit and push it further away from you so that we can have, yeah, a little more, sir.
A little more, it's not a back support. Let's see. It's like-
Yeah.
I think this is probably the best I can do it.
Oh, okay, sir. Can you push your chair a little up, if is it possible?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Mr. Shubhashish is here.
No, I don't think.
Yeah,
Radhika,
Radhika, tell
Mr.
me.
Subhash.
Okay.
Is this okay?
Okay. Okay.
Sir, yeah, sir. This is fine. Perfectly fine, sir.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. Everybody, please allow us just 1 minute and then we'll start.
So I need to introduce him fully, his name.
And then, sir, can you look towards the camera for 10 seconds? We're just taking your nod. So, Nirmal, sir, can you look towards the camera for 10 seconds?
Yeah.
Hi, Srinivasan, sir. You can see there is an option called cam/mic, sir.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah. If you could select that option and select the high definition, full high definition, and this will give us the best fit.
Yeah, done that.
Okay.
To set up the background. Does the background work with this?
Yeah, sir, this is fine, sir. I think the connection is.
No, no. I'm trying to change the background.
S- Sir, if you know, can you shift your laptop little towards your right so that we can hide that tab
To my
and you
right.
can, yeah, towards your right, sir.
Is this better now?
Yes, sir. Perfect, perfect. Just be there in the middle. Just see that for the 10 seconds. Yeah. Sir, please don't add the graphics, sir. Just
Srinivasan, sir, do you have any headphone or something? Your voice is echoing, sir.
I
If
am
you
on a
can.
Bluetooth speaker.
Okay.
Okay, this is a normal. I don't have a headphone to use. Let me check.
Yes,
Yeah,
sure.
sure.
Do you still get the echo?
Hi, Mr. Shubhashi, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Am I audible?
Sir, are you joining from a mobile phone?
Yes, I'm not getting connection otherwise.
Sir,
I will
can
not be
you?
participating as a speaker. I'm here just
Okay.
before the recording. So,
Oh, okay. Okay, sir. So I'm just going to put you on backstage, sir. You can listen to us.
yeah, I mean, before the recording, I'll just be welcoming all the speakers.
Sure.
And then,
Samarjit, yeah, just keep him on the stream right now.
Yeah, sure.
He will just
Uh,
brief us a bit about the program and then we can start. Yeah.
yeah.
Thanks.
Mr. Sunil, sir, Indra, sir, Chandramohan, sir, Jagdeep, sir, Srinivasan, sir, you all are passed in, and we are going to start the recording now.
Okay.
Before that, can you just tell me you all can hear us?
Pretty
I
much,
can
yeah.
hear you.
Yeah, we can hear
Okay,
you.
sir. Okay. Hi, Mr. Subhashis. So they can all hear you, and you can uh, start
okay.
when you ready. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So, good evening, gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming here. I'd like to welcome you on behalf of SAP to this Industry Knowledge Exchange forum. Before you get into the recording, and I'll not take too long, I'll keep you from that. What I wanted to do is just give you a quick context of what Industry Knowledge Exchange is. This is an initiative which SAP is driving, and the idea over here is to bring in thought leaders as yourselves to come and share your experiences and serve as a platform where industry leaders can exchange
One key. It's gone.
I'm sorry about having gotten disconnected, but in lieu of the unstable network I'm in, I'm just going to leave it at that. Thank you so much again for coming over here, and we'll keep in touch with you to engage on the industry knowledge exchange forum from time to time. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Back to you.
Hi, Parikshit. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Should we start?
Yeah. You can start. We have done with all the tech check is done. So can you see all the guests in the frame?
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay. You
One
can
second,
have a word
Samajit,
before you
just
start.
check Srinivasan sir's audio, please, before we start.
Yeah.
I think
Sir,
there's
can
an
you?
echo somewhere.
Yeah. Srinivasan sir, can you say something?
Hello. Can you all hear me clearly?
Yes. The echo is gone. Okay, so Momita, we are going to take full screen, and I'm going to take the switching, and then I'll give it over to you.
Done.
Hi, Parikshit. Can you have a word
Yeah.
before you start, and then let me know when to
Yeah,
start?
I can start now. Should I start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Hello and welcome to this special industry discussion, Calibrating the Throttle of Change. Now, what is this all about? Traditionally, a CFO used to be the custodian of the budget and protector of critical assets. However, today the new age CFO must capture key performance indicators that will guide the future course of the organization. Like CFOs in every other industry, the automotive financial leaders are also being challenged to increase the value of their companies amid rapid technological change. They need to be fundamentally rethinking the way they evaluate future growth and make financial decisions. The more critical task for them is to have a long term vision to drive consensus around the type of technological investments that are needed to bring returns in the future. Our esteemed speakers today: Anders Hager, the Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer at Volvo Eicher Commercial Vehicles; T.R. Srinivasan, Group Chief Financial Officer, Varroc Engineering Private Limited; Sunil Bora, Executive Director and Group CFO, Minda Industries; Manish Prasad, Vice President, Metal, Mining, Miscellaneous and Automotive Industry, ACP India Private Limited; S. Chandramohan, Director and Group President Finance at TAFE; and Jagdeep Oberoi, CFO, Sunbeam Auto. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us here on CNBC TV 18 on this special broadcast. But let me begin with Anders now. Anders, a lot has been changing over the last 2 years because of the pandemic and all the supply chain disruptions we've seen as a result of that. Tell us today, in this age of disruptions in supply chains, disruptions in technology, what is the key role of a CFO in an automotive company?
Yeah, I think it has changed tremendously during the last couple of years, and I think it has even increased during this terrible pandemic thing, because then we needed to speed up digitalization, at least in our company, and we needed to handle things in a different way than we have done in the past. And what I see clearly now, at least in automotive industry, is that these big changes of both technologies, new technologies coming in, but also a new way of doing business from traditional, you can say, capex model where we sell a truck or a car. Now there are so many different business models coming into play, and also new players coming in with a new technology. So the traditional companies that has been quite stable in the truck industry for many years, there are other players coming in. So all of us who are in, you can say, working with this for long, we need to renew and think in new lines, and we need to be very agile and have speed. And I think this is something that every finance person who works in automotive needs to work with, handling the, you can say, the risk and the new scenario, and be very quick in taking decision and also understand the new technology and where the trends are going. So it's quite extremely exciting period right now, but it's also quite challenging from any perspective, because it's a new game plan out there, a new game.
Absolutely. It's a lot is changing in the logistics sector, in the truck sector as well. So it is a challenging assignment for sure. Mr. Chandramohan, if I can get you in right now, when it comes to farm machinery, farm equipment, what is the key role of a CFO when we're looking at so many disruptions in technology, disruptions in fuels? What are the key expectations from you?
I would put it this way. First of all, thank you for having me in. The role of CFO, whether it is a tractor company or any other automotive company, to me remains the same, except some other perspectives could be different in a tractor company. Fundamentally, what has changed in the past couple of years, while what was hygiene, what was, let us say, strategic earlier is becoming hygiene, and new strategic initiatives are certainly becoming the order of the day in digital space. Let me give a small example. For example, we export to over 80 countries, or more than 80 countries in the country, and across various countries. And today we have, by click of the button, know very clearly the country-wise, the model-wise P&L for any tractor. And therefore, we know what could be the implication if there is some change in exchange rate, which is happening day in and day out in several countries, including Sri Lanka and Turkey, which we deal with. So therefore, that is becoming slowly hygiene. Even the treasury function, I would say, is getting much more automated by way of virtual mapping of the dealers and automation of payments, etc., which was not there maybe a couple or 2 years back. And therefore, the efficiency in fund management has has significantly improved in the past, I would say, 1 or 2 years. Of course, by click of the button, we can also get the P&L for any division, any tractor, any model wise at any point of time, including the daily working capital management. But what is becoming a strategic, in my opinion, for example, we spend a lot of money on sales promo. So we have to now use several analytics in order to enable us to understand, whether the schemes are working well, whether the effectivity of, in particular state, what we have done is happening or not, or whether to the extent what we are giving to the dealer is working well. So those are all the new initiatives, which in our opinion are certainly beginning to take place. For example,
Right.
in the pandemic time, we created CRM in the record time of 3 months, and that has helped us tremendously to leapfrog in terms of, I would say, inquiry management till delivery. So a lot of these type of newer initiatives are certainly beginning to take place in this digital transformation.
Right. Mr. Srinivasan, just to come in, as an industry veteran, how do you think technology adoption impacted the financial functions of a company like yours? I think you're on mute, sir.
First of all, thanks for having me in the program. Secondly, I think even though I may have a lot of gray hairs, I hardly qualify to be called an industry veteran because my total experience in automotive is about 4 years when I joined Varroc in 2017. So, but with whatever limited knowledge and experience I have gained in other industries, applied in the auto context, and also seeing how the auto industry is developing, so I can share those experiences with you. What we have seen in the last couple of years, and when we say last couple of years, everybody thinks of the onset of COVID pandemic and the short-term impact it's having on the businesses and the operations, as well as the longer-term implications. So that was definitely, and it is still to some extent, a challenging period, especially for the finance community and the finance leaders to manage, because it has created a lot of volatility in the business in terms of the visibility of demand and volumes, based on which you can plan your business operations, funds, and everything. So we had to become much more nimble, agile in terms of having to respond to industry developments as they happen, whether it is a second wave, whether it's a potential third wave, and the latest is a semiconductor shortage, which is impacting the volumes in the industry across the globe in a significant way.
Right.
So to be able to cope with that, so that's a challenge which you have to work very closely, not only with other functions, but also with your customers and vendors and across the supply chain to be able to respond effectively and to ensure continuity of operations. The second thing, the also reality that a lot of us are facing is that a large part of the last 2 years have been spent for most of the teams working from home. So we had to essentially kind of reinvent some of the business processes to be able to work in that context when people are not face to face, physically sitting next to each other. So a lot of internal processes we had to digitalize, whether it is a capex approval, whether it is demand planning, supply planning, and related treasury activities, including supplier financing and customer-related financing programs and so on. So that has been a focus area to digitalize number of these processes to be able to work effectively across multiple locations and time zones. And the longer run, some of the longer term industry trends which are shaping the industry, like electrification, autonomous mobility, shared mobility, and those trends also had to be taken into account because some of them are coming on much faster than what one would have expected even a couple of years
Right.
back. Yeah. EV vehicles, for example. So what we see today, the picture is very different from what it looked like maybe 6 months back even. So,
Right.
and one had to adapt and be ready to handle those changes to make sure not only that your existing investments are being put to use, but also the future investments you are making is in the right spaces, and they will pay off in the longer run. So these are the challenges, and like I said, you have to be connected throughout the supply chain and the ecosystem to be able to respond effectively.
Right, absolutely. Very important thoughts there. Mr. Oberoi, if I can get you in at Sunbeam Auto, tell us how did you increase technology adoption in your company to make sure that revenues are optimized, costs are brought down during this pandemic and the kind of disruptions that we've seen with semiconductors, production slowdowns as a result. It has been a very challenging time for the auto industry. But when it comes to component manufacturers like Sunbeam Auto, tell us about the kind of decisions that you took to increase digital adoption in order to maximize your revenue and cut costs at the same time.
So thanks. I think there are two aspects to your question. I think one is that in the normal situation when COVID chipped in, obviously nobody had thought about how to manage these things, right? So fortunately, as soon as we got to know that the work from home has to start, we had to do a lot of changes in terms of how we function daily. So in terms of new process to be improved, providing necessary infrastructure to the employees at home, and being a traditional company, obviously it was a change. We were not prepared for such work from homes, both in terms of maturity as well as in terms of infrastructure. So I think within that ambit was providing the infrastructure and also ensuring that the work from home also gives us the necessary protection in terms of the security of data. So I think those aspects, we focused very heavily. And I think our, in terms of the work from home, the biggest issue of data security, I think we started addressing very diligently, which was, giving very regular and, periodic trainings to the employees, in terms of, not to click on a few mails or buttons, and, ensuring that the necessary updates are, updated in the system, both in terms of the entire virus as well as the other associated security features. No sensitive information, for example, to be sent out through personal mails. So I think the real crux of the matter here was that we wanted to ensure that the employee understands that one is that security primarily is the responsibility of the employee rather than the company, and obviously giving them the necessary infrastructure and the training to be able to really carry out this. And of course, associated with that, of course, was providing the necessary, VPN systems, and of course, in the inherent of the hearts, we obviously had a zero trust mindset where, we ensured that we also create such procedures, for example, multi authorizations, then of course, encryptions like, software encryptions, and of course, forcing the update of the the firewalls and activities, which ensured that per se the even if the employee inadvertently goes into a wrong mode, we are actually protecting them for really understanding that the data does not go in the wrong place. So I think that was preparedness in terms of providing the necessary work from home facility, ensuring that the the data is properly corrected. I think that's one bit of it. I think the other bit of it, I think in Sunbeam, for example, unlike the other matured companies, my esteemed colleagues in the panel, obviously this company is also coming up after a particular era. So there were a lot of uncertainties that came up per se, and with the COVID coming in, it became far more difficult for us to handle. So the challenges really which we faced in terms of COVID coming in, and also we are trying to do the digitalization, were many. So for example, the resources for you per se are limited, right? It is not that we have endless resources, and we are trying to make best use of whatever we have. So that in the dynamically changing economic scenario, it was very difficult for us to predict the future market. So really we needed to partner very strongly with the competitive scenario and impact of pricing per se, to ensure that we are able to live up to the expectation of the customer, as well as make some decent buck on it.
Okay.
And within that would come is the optimum utilization of resources, vis-a-vis the various investment requirements in NPD, research development, and then finally we are talking of digital. Everything takes a lot of money, right? Then, of course, another important aspect here is that, as you may recall, that with the falling automotive market, I think in terms of really 2019, I think we are down almost 35 to 40%, and I think maybe 30% or sorry from 19 to 21. But looking at 22, it's no better, right? We are falling probably more head on, and really driven by the two-wheeler market. And also, for us, a bigger challenge is that how do we make decisions in the falling demand scenario, which we cannot influence, right? So one is the long-term decision, other is the short-term decision. What should you decide, whether you have to survive today or you have to actually look at tomorrow. So within that, rethinking the structure of the finance teams, whether we need to narrow down, bring down, and look at more automations, long-term, short-term decisions. Importantly, deployment of capital was another important point for us, because this is a low interest rate regime, as you know, right? And going forward, I think you never know when it'll start going up, because the consumption pattern has to be pushed up. So I think.
So I'll also get in comments from others, Mr. Oberoi. You've given us a lot to think about. I'd like to get in Mr. Bora very quickly. Mr. Sunil Bora, thank you for joining us. Sorry to keep you waiting as well. I'd just like to ask you about whether you feel that investments in digital transformation, customer experience were a key focus area for you over the last 2 years and became a key part of your financial planning as well to ensure growth and resilience at the same time.
No, absolutely, Parikshit. You are 100% right, because these areas of customer delight and also the functional transformation has always been top of our radar. It is not only 2 years; we have been consistently sort of investing in these areas. And yes, in last couple of years, we have accentuated our investment in these aspects. We have also taken a lot of actions, as my colleagues have mentioned, maybe Mr. Jagdeep or Mr. Srinivasan, Mr. Andreas also. So all these actions are very, very valid, I think, even for us also. So we are working in the same ecosystem. So these initiatives have, I would say, across the board for every organization, they are very important. I think what was also trickled how do we sort of balance our initiatives, investments, and keep focusing medium to long-term growth also, because at times you normally tend to get short-sighted as to what initiatives you take, because there's a pandemic, nobody knows how it will pan out. It's once in a 100-year kind of scenario. A lot of things are there on top of our mind, but we always try and balance as a finance leader as to how do we make sure that organization does not get its thought funneled only on the impact because of pandemic, because yes, pandemic has taught us many lessons, and I think everybody has done newer things to make sure that they stay fit. I think it's equally important to see that how do we make sure that the growth momentum which organization has built remains intact. How do we consistently and continuously invest in our growth capex? How do we consistently see that whatever long-term vision, long-term plans we have set out don't get impacted by this pandemic? So we have consistently been active in not only investing in areas of transformation or in areas of customer delight or in terms of automation. We have also been very, very focused in seeing that we consistently invest in all other areas, as Mr. Jagdeep also sort of mentioned, and also Mr. Srinivasan, but also see that the growth projects which you have taken sort of goes unhindered.
Right. Mr. Anders, let me get you in back in. Do you think when we speak about financial functions and financial agility, how mature do you think the automotive industry in India is when it comes to financial agility? Do we have end-to-end real-time visibility? And what efforts are you making to increase financial agility of your organization? Oh, I think you're on mute.
Apologize, I was on mute. I think this preparedness for this change and agility, I think that is something that we need to work with our people much more with, because it is the speed of the change is coming much quicker, and the need also and the accessibility with digitalization is that people want to have information quicker. it needs to be more accurate in a shorter period. The traditional way of waiting a month and see what happened, that I think will be gone. Now it will be selected financial information to selected parts of the company where it makes sense. And I think one big challenge is actually what kind of communication and what kind of financial information and where what kind of measurement should we have in this new, if I say new economy. We should not exaggerate the new economy, even though we hear a lot about electrical vehicles, fuel, and everything like that. Still, it's quite a traditional business, even though it's changing. But with the digitalization and also all the other tools that people have in their phones and everything like that, the expectation is that we be much quicker and actually come with the accurate financial information at the right time. I think that is one challenge and something that at least I work with in my team. So that is one point.
Right. No, thank you so much for telling us about that. But Mr. Chandramohan, if I can get you in and to ask you especially about the compliance related challenges that the automotive industry faces, how do you think data driven initiatives and cloud based services can help you overcome some of those compliance related challenges?
Okay, let me begin with as mundane as it's not mundane, it's important in terms of completion of accounts and audit, which became a big challenge in this current financial year, the last financial year. So what we did was, we had to, a lot of people were working actually on SAP from the house, and so we had to put tremendous amount of controls and checks and balance to ensure that they're all working seamlessly, perfectly well. But at the same time, we had to connect with auditors, and they were not willing to come to the office at all. And therefore, we had to feed all the information to them online. So therefore, we had to create a microsite, push all the information digitally to them. We have also subsidiaries outside the country. So, to ensure that this was done was a real big challenge. And this was the first time we attempted. I'm sure several companies would have been able to do this. But we were able to do this within a period of, I would say, by May, we were able to complete it. So that was a mindset change, which also made us to think that it is possible to work digitally as far as you ensure that controls are put in properly. Similarly, we have roughly, I would say, close to 50 acts to be complied with in various operations. So what we did was, we completely connected all the plants across online and ensured, because we have to give a report to the board that all the acts have been complied with. So we ensured that all the reports were basically obtained on a digital mode, ensuring that all these acts, whether it is pollution control, whether it is fraud and fund, whether it is whichever act, so all those were really complied with online. So that was another interesting exercise which we attempted. So I would say in this pandemic, it has really taught us as to how to improve the compliance in the digital mode and ensure governance, and that was an interesting experience.
Right. No, thank you so much. Yes, of course, things were very difficult for the entire automotive industry, and we can completely imagine the same thing must be for the financial departments of all these companies as well. Mr. Srinivasan, if I can get you in right now, tell us about some of the key priorities that emerged for you over the last 2 years. Yes, we've spoken about supply chain challenges, technology related challenges, especially the move towards electric vehicles. But if you had to outline 3 priorities that emerged for you during the pandemic and because of all the technology related disruptions over the last 2 years, what would that be?
Yeah, I would say this motivating and retaining talent was a great priority, because earlier when we were all working side by side, face to face, it was much easier to get a temperature of the team, how they are faring, and take the pulse and so on. And when we are working remotely and are not face to face, while the work gets done, but often you tend to risk losing the pulse or the intangibles of the team, how they are faring, etc. And especially when you are spread over multiple locations and you are not able to travel to the respective places to meet the people, I think that has been very key priority for us. It's not just finance function. I think it's also for the larger organization. I think our HR function has done a great job by way of launching the various initiatives, leveraging the online platform to keep the employees connected in terms of virtual birthday celebrations, putting in place digital reward and recognition programs, even organizing various cultural interactions and showcasing the talents in a digital format and competitions. And not just the employees, but also their family members and so on. So I think that really got a very good response because when you're working from home, your family needs to feel that they are part of what you're doing, right? And giving them an opportunity to showcase those talents of the children and the family members, I think was received very well.
Right.
So that I think managing those intangible aspect was a key priority. And on the business side, of course, you want to make sure that the investments you made are paying off properly, because there is a certain limitation in terms of how much cash or liquidity you have to invest, and you have to first make sure that the investments are utilized optimally. So that's where a lot of initiatives in terms of Industry 4.0, IoT, to get better
Right.
visibility on machine utilization, productivity. Those things are kicked off, or they got an kind of an more of urgency to roll out those initiatives and get them going. I
Yeah.
think that's the second priority, I would say. And also preparing for the longer term in terms of uh, analyzing the product portfolio, making sure that your product portfolio strategy is attuned to the longer term trends in terms of your
Right.
exposure to the different product segment, emerging product segments, and so on,
Okay.
so that one can continue to be successful in the marketplace.
Right. Mr. Oberoi, to get you in right now, and again, coming to the point of financial agility, tell us how important is digital adoption in today's day and age for an automotive company, an auto components company, to ensure the financial agility of an organization like yours, to make sure that you are financially fit, financially healthy?
Yeah, thanks. I think so. How important is digitization? I think it's a situation where either you do or you die. I think there is no option there, right? So, considering the fact that we are competing and we are up with the best in the industry, and the competitors as well as the other allied automotive ancillary suppliers have been very very robust in it. I think for anybody and everybody, I think the first choice is to immediately move towards digitalization. I think digitalization, as far as I'm concerned, for us, really for the new age CFO to become a tech champion and a change agent, I think that's where I think we will be required to chip in, and I think in terms of the advantages that we can look at, so really for a CFO to become a digital leader, right, a digital CFO, I think you will have to have kind of 5 components really inbuilt into you, actually engraved into you, so that you can help in understanding the business. One is the strategic leadership, which is I think very important for us to act as a very good helping hand to the CEOs and to the rest of the organization, rather than only being living with the mundane data, which obviously is outdated. So this would actually involve helping them in looking at product life cycles, looking at new product developments, capex for technology, as well as diversification issues. I think getting into the in-depth of all this with the operating team, looking at productivity improvement, focus on the key markets as well as the key segments, looking at the penetration levels which can be done. I think importantly, risk management, other than only financial, looking at the overall organization, we look at the enterprise risk management, where we look at identifying the key risks, and helping them and mitigate them, and continuously kind of monitoring them, looking at government incentives and subsidies and product cost management. Really, in terms of the one bit of strategic leadership, I think the second would be data-driven value creation, which is very important.
Yeah.
So I'm actually stepping into the fact that it's imperative, and what do we actually get out of it, right? What do we get out of doing a digitalization? So data-driven value creation, I think, is the key word for CFOs. In terms of, I think this can be accomplished by really giving real-time information. I think this is something which can really help us in taking very, very quick decisions, and obviously taking corrective actions. Obviously we can use BIs and dashboards and host of other things. that available, that can help in the whole situation. And syncing various data, I think there was a time when we used to give data. I think now there is a time where we create subjectivity, objectivity from subjectivity, right? Bringing about a lot of information together and trying to give some insights which can basically add value. And then, of course, most importantly, robust cost information. So that is the second pillar on data value creation. I think third is the digital labor where we can chip in. I think this is, of course, all about robotics, the artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, and algorithms. I think algorithms primarily for repetitive processes and adding quality in AI, and IoT is really for, even now on machines, we've already implemented on a few of our casting machines where we are getting direct feed into our SAP, which is really helping us to minimize labor and also giving very good quality data for us to analyze and see what is the layoff time, what is the redundancy. And I think cross-functional collaboration, and last, least but not very less important, is cybersecurity. I think that's how I think digitization has become an absolute imperative for us, and to get these advantages, there is no other way we can do it. I think that's point number one. I think, can you repeat your second question? I'm sorry, I'm just missing that.
Yeah, about efforts that you're making towards financial agility by use of digital technologies.
So I think in terms of financial agility, the way I look at it is that, we should be able to adopt to the given situation and, quickly be flexible enough to, be able to react in a positive manner, right? So I'm saying an agility for an organization is to be able to cope up with the environment, no matter how uncertain the environment is. I think for that, I think there are 2-3 stages that one would look at. One is, of course, survival, where you are trying to put across everything, let's say put together everything and understand that, what is it that we have today, and realistically speaking, how do we make it the best, I mean, in terms of being able to, really making it work the best way it is possible. I think the second stage would be stabilizing the whole thing. I think stabilizing as in looking at, looking at multi options of plans where you can chip in, let's say a lot of various parameters, and look at sensitivities and see where would be worst case scenario and the best case scenario would be, and then try to create situation where how would you react to it. And in terms of that, we should actually we normally tie up with other organizations that in terms of let's say in terms of there is a pandemic or if there is a slowdown, how do we react to the situation, where do we get the money, how do we leverage it. I think, and then last and not the least, I think, is the long-term returns and reinvestment, which is the future. I think so. Basically, it's basically transformational mindset. Start looking at things in a different way. Improve business practices. Focus on where the funds have been investing, how quickly we can get them out. Importantly, looking at production measures to improve production. And I think it's basically the idea of adoption to challenge, and overcoming the idea. I think that's how really I would look at agility. I think, and the team should be, I think, up to it. I think that's my thoughts.
Okay, now let me put the final question to Mr. Bora. Now we're coming towards the end of our discussion. Mr. Bora, from a financial outlay point of view, how are you maintaining the balance of investments to build future business models versus sustaining the current model and operation? Mr. Bora, did you hear me?
No, sorry, your voice actually just paused in between.
Okay, Mr. Bora, I'm asking you this again. From a financial outlay point of view, how are you maintaining the balance of investments to build future business models versus sustaining the current model and operations?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Parishit, as I was saying a little while back also, so we have all the tools, as Mr. Jagdeep also mentioned, in terms of providing full support or to the existing business, making sure the existing business delivers. You do automate, you do digitization, whatever is required to do real-time approval, make paperless office, etc. But what we do in terms of medium-term growth also, we have sort of split our management reviews, our discussions in a way that we don't actually have any overlap between the current business versus what is growth. So we make sure that we have a strategy discussion for the medium to long-term growth is little different than when you review your operations. Because when you review your operations, the thought process is very clear. You look for the results, you look for delivery, you look for customer delight, you make sure that whatever projects you have taken, they get delivered and they get the returns as you have expected. Whereas when you look of the future growth, your thought process is a little different, because there you are thinking about medium to long-term growth of the organization, what products you can add, what value you can add, what kind of investments you need to make into R&D. So when we do our budgeting exercise, we also make sure that we use all these digitization tools to make sure that you prioritize very structurally in terms of how your KPIs are measured for your operations, how your KPIs are also measured for your growth. And same way, we also see the fund allocation exercise, where what we do at the beginning of the year sort of does not do any shortcuts to the growth. Yes, immediate operations are very, very important, but we also make sure that whatever funding, whatever support, whatever bandwidth needs to be provided, we provide that for our growth business as well.
Right. We've completely run out of time, but we'd like to thank all our panelists today on this discussion: Anders Hager, T.R. Srinivasan, Sunil Bora, Manish Prasad, S. Chandramohan, and Jagdeep Oberoi. Thank you very much, and guiding us on the theme, calibrating the throttle of change, and the kind of digital investments we need to ensure financial agility of an organization, of an automotive company in times like these. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Thank you, Mr. Sunil.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Andres. Thank you, Mr. Chandramal, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jagdeep, sir. You can sign off, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Andres.
Do you want me to record these questions separately for the SAP speaker?
Yes, the SAP speaker. So the recording was fine. We took full window this time. So can you do two things needs to be done? Just a second, I've noted it down for you. So the first is first question to Srinivasan. That was a little off. We need to do that. And first question to Sunil Bora. Only those two questions.
Yeah, now I don't remember what I asked them here.
Just a second. I think it was the first which we were asking to everyone.
It's okay. I suggest Swamiji, let's transcribe it for Pariksha. Tomorrow when we are recording for the CIO panel, no? Post that, we can record it. Does that work, Pariksha?
And have a different suit.
Yeah.
You'll have to wear the same, I'm sorry. Because this is like one
आप कैसे कुछ भी कहते हो, कुछ भी पूछ लो, ऐसे कैसे होता है? या तो लिख लो उस समय की जो नहीं आ रहा, you know?
Yeah, no, Pariksha, we'll transcribe it.
ट्रांसक्राइब कर लेंगे, अगर होता है तो मैं यूज कर लूंगा, और इट्स फाइन, हो जाएगा पोस्ट में.
Who was the second person that I went to after Anders?
So after Anders, it was
Srinivasan, right?
Yeah, Srinivasan. So Parikshit, I think the first question, which if you have how are you supporting automotive companies adopt new practices? That question, that is the one I think. Like I'm 99% sure that is the one. And just give me the end link and the outer, because we took the guest frame in the beginning to avoid re-recording again.
Okay, now I'm asking, huh?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Srinivasan, this was a period where we saw a lot of disruptions in technology, disruptions due to the pandemic. Tell us how you imbibed technology in your company in order to improve financial functions during this disruptive period.
Perfect. Then to Mr. Bora, the first question.
Yeah. Mr. Bora, coming to you now, would you agree that investments in digital transformation and customer experience has become a key focus during financial planning in order to ensure both growth and resilience?
Thank you, Parikshit. Now, just the intro and the outro and the nodding. And also, just to be on the safe side, can you help me just say the names of the people like uh, Mr. Bora so that I can patch it in so that we don't have to record it again?
Okay.
Yeah.
And when
So,
do you
like,
want to take these questions for the SAP speaker?
yeah, after that, it's done. So, that is going to be the last thing.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to start the introduction once again, right?
Yeah. Intro and the ending, and then.
Right. Hello and welcome to this special broadcast, Calibrating the Throttle of Change. Now, what is this all about? Traditionally, a CFO used to be the custodian of the budget and protector of critical assets. However, today the new age CFO must capture key performance indicators that will guide the future course of the organization. Like CFOs in every other industry, the automotive financial leaders are also being challenged to increase the value of their companies amid rapid technological change. They need to be fundamentally rethinking the way they evaluate future growth and make financial decisions. The more critical task for them is to have a long term vision to drive consensus around the type of technological investments that are needed to bring returns in the future. Let me introduce our esteemed speakers. Anders Hager is the Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer, Volvo Eicher Commercial Vehicles. T.R. Srinivasan, Group CFO, Varroc Engineering. Sunil Bora, Executive Director and Group CFO, Minda Industries. Manish Prasad, Vice President, Metal, Mining, Miscellaneous and Automotive, SAP India. S. Chandramohan, Director and Group President Finance at TAFE. And Jagdeep Oberoi, CFO, Sunbeam Auto. Right, gentlemen, we've come to the end of our discussion. It's been great talking to you all to understand your perspectives about the importance of digital transformation, digital technologies in making an automotive company financially agile, financially healthy, and also contributing towards increasing its revenues in this disruptive period. Thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you, Parikshit. Now, just take the names of all the individual, just Mr. and then.
अभी तो लिए थे मैंने.
नहीं नहीं वो आपने नाम ले लिया था दैट इज द इंट्रो हो गया था क्वेश्चन के लिए सो दैट वी डोंट हैव टू रीडू इट अगेन
Okay.
just the name. So the idea is I'll tell you how it is going to be. So Mr. Mr. Bora, then just give a pause so that I can add in the post.
Okay. Mr. Anders? Mr. Srinivasan, to you now. Sunil Bora? Coming to you, Sunil Bora. Manish Prasad, coming to you. Let me now go across to S. Chandramohan. Jagdeep Oberoi, if I can come to you now. Is it okay?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. So
Now
now
forward
the
to those
question and the nods. That's it from Mr. Manish.
And you guys didn't tell me that tomorrow also there is a recording. You didn't tell me.
Radhika?
Yeah, I had mailed you, Parikshit, had taken the dates, no, 25th and 26th for CFO and CIO panel.
Okay. This is for Manish Prasad, right? Or just leave it like this right now?
No, this is for Manish Prasad. Yeah.
Okay. So Manish, over time, how do you see technology having changed financial planning and corporate reporting for automotive companies? Manish, how are you supporting automotive companies adopt new practices in financial operations? Also, Manish, with digitization in finance, how do you see the treasury function evolve? Finally, Manish, how are you seeing the compliance processes changing for an automotive company?
Can you do the last one without saying the finally? We might switch.
Okay. how are you seeing the compliance processes changing for an automotive company?
Thank you so much.
Manish, how are you Manish, how are you seeing the compliance process changing for an automotive company?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I was going to say the name. Just 15 seconds of serious nodding and 15 of. Thank you. I think that would be enough. Thank you, Parikshit. Radhika?
Yeah,
Yeah, so the 4 questions, just send it to me. I'll get them.
sure, sure.
Catch it
Yeah.
later.
Thank you,
Okay. Thank
Parikshit.
you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you,
take care.
team. Bye.
Hello, Momita. Are you there?
Yeah, Samajit. Ending the
Yeah, yeah.
broadcast.
Yeah, I'm ending. I'm ending it.